Welcome today to our TMBT Media podcast, Pro Basketball Culture. And today we're blessed to have our TMBT Pro Head Coach in the building with us, Coach Bo Jones, who is our Pro Coach, Pro Head Coach, and oversees our Pro Division and the development of everything that we're doing on the Pro level. Coach Jones, you there with us today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, Mel? Good, man.
And it's a pleasure to have the legend with us today. Coach Bo Jones is one of my favorite people, of course, one of our favorite people. Huge part of what we do here at our TMBT family. And his father was one of my mentors and has said many a positive word to me, how to maintain my focus. And so it's a pleasure, as we say, on all of our podcasts, for us to have Coach Jones helping us and partnering with us to help to save some kids and try to show some kids a different way of life. We're blessed to have you with us, my brother. I'm blessed to have you with us. We want to jump right into it, Coach Jones. You've had a busy summer, as you normally do. You do so much for us and our TMBT family, but you also have your own Bo Jones basketball that you have started some years back. Talk to us a little bit about what you're doing in your community, my brother. You're doing so many positive things. Share with some of our listeners what you're doing to carry on your father's legacy, your last name, your Jones legacy. Planting seeds.
Man, the summer's been busy, but busy is a blessing sometimes. So just training kids and high school kids and college kids and elementary school kids, and mentoring. I was blessed once again this year to coaching in TBT. I'm on ESPN. I coach with a team called Virginia Dream, based out of Danville. That was a great experience, as usual. We lost first round on a team called West Virginia, but you know, we didn't play our best, but we still had a good experience as far as networking and just traveling and just playing on ESPN. You know, it's not every day you can play on ESPN after guys leave college, so that's always a blessing. It's good for exposure. And locally, I've been having the runs in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 7 o'clock. Then recently, my guy Reggie Williams decided it'd be a good idea to have runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this week was the first full week of Tuesdays and Thursdays runs at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was great feedback. I didn't make it out there Tuesday, but I was there today and did some real high-level runs. Reggie Williams, Prentice Bell, Rashawn McLemore, Julian Maxwell, Marcus Evans, Kello Sims, Trevor Lewis, Dennis Parker, John Marshall High School, Jamal Abrams, my guy Pele, my guy Ronnie. Who else am I leaving off? Anybody? Can't get nobody off. I think that's about it, Bill.
Coach, you guys, I was blessed to see the runs that you guys had this morning. Talk a little bit about the mixture of young men that you and the legendary basketball player Reggie Williams from Prince George High School, you guys have put together quite a mixture of players. Explain to the listeners and the people, explain what goes into that. I know you have previously been having your own runs at U-Turn as well, but you guys seem to have a great mix of young men that you guys have personally invited. Talk to us a little bit about the benefits of having young men that believe in what you're doing, such as yourself and Reggie Williams, that will come to your meeting, if you will, because it's a meeting. It's a basketball meeting that you're inviting people to come to, and they're taking the meeting out of respect for who's asking them to come. Talk a little bit about what you do and what you do with the pros. I know for those that know you, they understand that you've been running our pro division for quite some time. Talk a little bit about what you did down in Miami with that group. We talked about what you guys are doing here in Richmond. Talk about what you did last summer down in Miami a little bit, and the knowledge and the wisdom that you were trying to share with those young men down there, if you will.
Yeah, but to finish on the local runs, Reggie just threw it out there last week about playing at different times because 7 in the morning, you know, your body's different at 10:30 a.m. as opposed to 7 a.m. So it's just a different time, it's a different feel, a real good mix of guys, all guys that's playing ball for a living. Of course, Reggie's retired now, but he still competitive, still can play. And, you know, he brings something to the run. You know, he brings that mentorship to the run and he stabilizes the run in a good way. So, you know, that's always a positive that a guy can come home and get high-level runs in the off-season. You know, you and I, being former athletes and watching you growing up, playing pickup runs in the gym and being at all the high-level runs, it just helps keep your rhythm going. You know, I think it's important for me, but every player, I think it was important for me. I'm not playing anymore, but, you know, some guys don't like playing off season. Some guys rather just train and work out and then hit training camp and then turn it up another level. But, you know, for me personally, going through college and high school, playing that pickup run was important for my growth and development. But at the same time, like, you want your name out there. Like, you want to be mentioned with the greats, with the guys who supposedly, you know, running the court. And kind of shift off down to Miami. Last summer, it was a blessing. I did a pro camp at a gym called Attack, where a lot of NBA guys train off season. Gym is a little hazy, but it's a good environment. It was a hot gym. I like a hot gym anyway, and had some guys that are trying to get overseas, trying to get back overseas. So they had a real good mix of guys in camp. 12 guys from as far as, I think, Detroit. Was the furthest one of the guys came. So I just want to give them a hint to the pro game and some pro stats and a pro understanding on how to play at a high level overseas. You know, so that just pretty much was going in Miami, and I met some good guys down there that had some good IQ. You know, they had a real good understanding of how to play the pro game as far as spacing. I think with the pro game and college game, spacing is very important, and spacing is different in some aspects. You know, most teams will always run nowadays a 4-out-1-in set. A lot of stretch fours that can step out and shoot the three and put the ball on the floor as well. So spacing is very important. Going from college, playing pro ball, whether in Europe, South America, Asia, NBA G League. You know, if you watch the G League game, watch the NBA game, look at the spacing. You know, 15 to 18 feet apart, sometimes more. But the spacing is important, and you know, attacking gaps, drawing through people, and passing to the open man, and shooting. Shooting and spacing go hand in hand, and I say that because spacing is only good if you can shoot. You know, you can't space me out if you don't have shooters.
That's deep. Yeah.
So when you space teams out and you have shooters, there's a different aspect as far as how you're going to defend that. But I mean, I don't care how much spacing you have. If you're not making an outside shot, I'm gonna train my defense in and guard the cup. I'm going to guard the paint. So spacing and shooting go hand in hand. As you can see in today's game, spacing and shooting go hand in hand. You know, if you watch Golden State play, this is my perspective on it. They don't kill you with the three all the time. You know, some games they'll come out 12, 13 threes, you know. But when I watch them play, like, and I study their film a lot with Golden State, they beat you off the tools, the back cuts, the curls, the elbow shot, the mid-range. They finish you off with the three.
Right.
You know, because they shrink their defense with so much back cuts and rub screens, flares, fades that, you know, you're going to have to sink off somebody, which is normally Draymond. But still, when you're giving Draymond space, it allows him to see the floor without any ball pressure. And if you press him, you know, he can drive value and draw. And most of the time, he's going to make the right decision on the pass. So spacing and shooting goes hand in hand. So like a lot of the drills we did in Miami was spacing and shooting and screen and rescreen. And just like terminology, you know, in the pro game, we really don't call pick and roll. Sometimes peanut butter jelly, you know, Tom and Jerry, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, explain to the guys that terminology is important because it's going to vary from country to country, from coach to coach.
Right.
And to get us understanding basic rotation on defense as well, you know, that's more important. I mean, that's so important for us playing pro ball and even college, even in high school. Knowing how to rotate, knowing who to close off to. So those aspects of the game, you know, you get a real good feel last summer in Miami.
Right. Speaking of Miami, I'm one of your pro students that attended our camp down in Miami as well as Richmond. PJ Austin just attended his first job interview in Argentina. Talk to us a little bit about PJ Austin and what you experienced coaching him through both camps. Take us a little bit about through that process, coaching PJ at both of your camps, and then him traveling overseas and him calling you back for answers and for wisdom. Talk a little bit about that experience, if you will.
Yeah, I met PJ last time in Miami. Real good athlete, you know, long arms, runs the floor well, fade both ends. So, I mean, he had a good camp in Miami, from my perspective, one of the top guys there. Then he recently went to Argentina to get some feedback from him on his experience. He said he learned a lot as far as fitness and training and having his body in shape, being stretched out. He said he played well in the camps and the drills, but of course, you know, he's a competitor, and he said he could have played better. So I definitely understand that. You know, he holds himself accountable to a higher standard, which is important. You know, because when you hold yourself to a higher standard as a player, and you don't keep striving, you make less excuses. You know, you hold yourself accountable for not being in shape or not getting the proper rest or whatever it is. So that is definitely still your P's and Q's. But I think he has a pro game, definitely. So I mean, I hope things work out for him over in Argentina with the team he worked out for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. PJ Austin is our captain, one of our captains for our pro squad, and takes the game very seriously. And we're blessed to have him as a client, and looking for him to continue turning into the player that we know he will be in the pro level, on the pro level. Coach, even though you don't play anymore, you still carry a pretty professional diet. You still, I still see you working out and eating the correct things. Talk to us a little bit about your diet and how you maintain, because you're still playing. You're still playing with the young guys and teaching and playing at the same time. Talk to us a little bit about your diet and how you maintain your physical and your mental.
A lot of cardio. You know, I eat healthy, but I can always eat better. A lot of running, lifting, stretching, more running. You know, as you get older, you need more days of rest. So I started walking. And between the days I don't run, you know, that's working your knees and your legs. I mean, that's been helpful. But just, you know, once you've been playing ball or playing sports or hockey, tennis, whatever it is, He's been training since recreation. You know, it's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to not to go to the gym and do something. You know, ab work, stretching, lifting, sauna, maybe pool, jump rope. So it's a way of life, and that goes in hand with eating. You know, eat a lot of greens, a lot of fruit, drink a lot of water. And I mean, playing ball so much, gotta stay hydrated. So, gotta have that water in your body. Right. So, but I can definitely, you know, eat better. I have my days where I, you know, eat that fried fish. You know, hard to turn down. I don't have that pizza, but I try to stay with my greens every day. You know, I love kale and broccoli. So, you know, I eat those two about 3 or 4 times a week.
Right. Coach, what's the difference? You and I talk about it all the time, but I want you to share with our listeners your interpretation and the difference between pro basketball in Miami, Florida versus pro basketball in Richmond, Virginia. And what's your interpretation? What's the difference in the two?
Miami and Richmond?
Or DMV. Let's say DMV, shall we? DMV, pretty much the same thing.
DMV, the biggest difference would probably be exposure.
Exposure.
Okay. Exposure in regards to Miami having a pro summer league where current NBA guys are playing.
Right.
That's always helpful. In regards to Richmond, I can't speak on the entire DMV, but I would say Richmond, more access to our gyms. You know, Richmond is a smaller city, of course, than Miami, but, you know, we only have a handful of gyms that we can have access to in the summertime for the kids in the community. So that's definitely another difference between Richmond and Miami. I think those are the key points right there.
Right. What's the difference, Coach, from a coaching standpoint? You've coached on all 3 levels, pro, high school, college. What have you seen is the difference? What does it take, in your opinion? What does it take to go from high school, which you coached at, college you've coached at, now coaching with us in the pros, overseas pro basketball? What does it take? What's the difference in all 3 levels?
I think one of the differences is as you advance, it's just bigger, stronger, faster.
Right.
That's one. And at the term pro, guys are just skilled. You know, most guys are good at one thing, good or great at one thing. Whereas in high school and college, most guys are still developing. And then once you turn pro, you know, you start maxing out and reaching your ceiling, but you're advancing your game. So, I mean, that's a big part of being a pro, is finding your strengths and weaknesses, and you just enhancing them year after year. I can just push yourself towards getting better. Like with LeBron James, his jump shot improved each year, you know, over time. But that's because he worked at it.
Right.
So that's really important right there.
But is that fair though, Coach Jones? I mean, you coming from a legendary family. Your father, a legendary athlete, and then a legendary basketball coach. Is that fair? People like yourself and myself to ask that of these kids? Do this and you'll be great. Is that fair? Knowing that the obstacles that they have to, that are competing against basketball, I'm sure you will agree. Back in your day, in my day, we had less things pulling at our mind, right? So we didn't have PlayStation, and we didn't have, I didn't have cable TV, didn't have a phone. What kid wants to play basketball now? There's too much work in it, right? So too much work. You and I know that, unfortunately, kids don't want to put in the work today. They don't have to because they can, they feel like they have the information. They feel like they can watch it and absorb it. And that's not how that goes. We're not going to keep you much longer. Wanted to ask you just your basketball TBT. You had a huge, like you said, you guys were on TV, huge, ESPN, backed by Puma, big time things. This is your second year participating in that. What did you learn the most from being around those guys and that organization? Seeing how they do business. I know they gave you guys apparel and all this other stuff. What did you learn? You and I talk all the time, but I would like for you to share some of the wisdom that you gained by participating in that event 2 years in a row.
It's great networking, and as far as meeting other coaches and meeting other GMs and different coaching strategies, meeting players, former NBA players, CEOs. So it's a whole melting pot of advantages and perks when you play, even being involved with the TBT. So that's very important as far as on any level, as far as coaches and players. And it's been around the game at a high level, It's not NBA ball, it's not Euro ball, it's not pickup. It's a mixture. So, and then like with the Elam ending, it's different. You in the game with a made bucket. Not all, that's rare. So it's a good experience. Guys can stay in shape, and another reason is you're playing for $1 million.
Right.
So that's definitely it's some added motivation.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, definitely added motivation. So I'm just looking at over if I'm blessed enough to coaching it again next year, and I'm looking to get a win in advance. 0-2 in the first 2 years, but we didn't play bad. We just have some spurts in our first 2 years where we just can't score, and in that kind of tournament and on that level, you can't have scoring drives like that.
Right.
Yeah, real hard to win on that level.
Right. They West Virginia, this was your second time driving up. I remember you sent back a lot of pictures that we posted from your experience. I think that's huge what you're able to do to teach some kids, to share some wisdom, to drive 6 hours up to West Virginia and share some wisdom with some young men that are trying to do the same thing that you did, which is play pro basketball at a high level. So that's big time what you've been doing. As we tell you all the time, we're very proud of you. Talk to us a little bit about being a Hall of Famer in Richmond Public Schools, what it means to you, your father, and I. I was blessed to go in with your father in 2022. You went in before us. Talk to us a little bit about what that means to you being a Hall of Famer, being that you are a student athlete from Richmond Public Schools, being inducted into the Richmond Public Schools Hall of Fame.
Man, for one, it's a blessing just to get in and be acknowledged. And as a player and a coach, I played at Huguenot, had a good career, great career. All depends how I look at it. And I coached girls there 12 years, which I can honestly say I'm more proud of my coaching career of the girls than I am of my playing career, which is kind of tough for me to say, but I do feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a blessing. And to be in the Hall of Fame, and a lot of guys that I look up to, getting in before them kind of felt kind of funny. But it's a lot of work, seeing your hard work and sacrifice paid off and being recognized for it, is a blessing and it's an accomplishment. I'm definitely grateful for it. Just wish, could have had a state ring as a player or coach, but as I get older, it's not so much about wins and losses. Yeah, you want to win, of course, as a competitor, but it's about relationships. And that's a big part of coaching and playing, is relationships. So, people remember the wins, good games, bad games, but the relationship lasts forever. Longer than any trophy, any pride, so definitely a blessing. And to get into the Hall of Fame, my dad got in this year, so I have a father-son type duo, which is pretty cool. I wish he was here to see it, but I know he was here in spirit. So, yeah, man, it's a blessing coming from RPS and being a Huguenot and playing there, coaching there, like, and giving back to the community.
Hey, man, that's legendary. It's bigger than big. It's legendary. Those of us that know your father, and he meant so much to us, I'm sure, like you said, he's there in spirit and looking down and very proud of what you're doing, man. You're saving lives, as I tell you all the time. It's a pleasure to have you leading us and trying to show young men the right way to live. Not only play basketball, but the right way to conduct themselves, right way to clearly play basketball, but to be successful at it. Out of all of the traveling that you've seen, TBT, in West Virginia, our Miami camps, here in Richmond, throw me out some pro names, Coach. Being that you and I are looking for pro clients, who have you seen this summer that has impressed you? That if you had a chance to help them, or if you do have a chance to help them, that you think that you've seen something in them that has impressed you in the last 365 days, going back to Miami, TBT, throw us out a few names.
Man, to be honest, Mel, I've been blessed to be around a lot of high-level ball this summer. A lot of high-level ball. So, but I'm proud of my guy Walt Willis, getting his first pro contract. He was highly impressive this summer. Malik Johnson, Malik White, Duvin Maxwell really has transformed his game. Man, so many players. Who else out there? I'm leaving like a lot of guys out. Because I think for all the guys locally, for me being an older guy and having my coaching hat on, it really improved a lot.
Right.
As far as the body, mind, and soul, my dad used to always say, he don't say it all the time, basketball is a smart man's game. Of course you got to be athletic, but, if we don't know how to run and jump, that's where the mental part comes into play. So, but I think collectively, all the guys around here, definitely improved this summer. Not that my word is gospel, but just me being an older guy looking at the guys and just seeing guys up. Mikael Sam definitely, he can transform his body, whole different player. We constantly improving. And Prentice Bell, Bashawn McLemore, Martin Wilson, Marcus Elliott, a lot of guys just man, so many names, man. I'm around. I'm in the gym at least 6 days a week,
Right.
playing, coaching, watching. So just seeing guys developing. Dennis Parker got a lot better. You know, just seeing him grow. You know, his left is kind of scary because I mean, right now he can guard a 1, 2, 3, or 4. You know, so that's what being so versatile on that level. He can switch a lot of things defensively.
Right.
So you know, he's a high school kid. Davin Cosby recruiting has went through the moon. You know, being a team loaded kid and him just working the gym with MJ Wynn, his brother Juan Wilson is a former player of mine. That's family. So I've been watching Juan and Davin for years, and you know, I see a lot of Davin and Juan. Juan was just, you know, Davin has that dog, but Juan was more that you know, the house you couldn't walk in front of with the dog on bark regardless. Gate up.
Yeah.
That's the difference between Juan and Davin. You know, you couldn't walk past that dude and you ain't respect him right on that court. That's the fire you played with. So I mean, his recruiting has really went up. A gym prep kid, Raziel Bolden Gonzaga. You know, his game has really transformed. He'll be back this year. You know, he's gonna lead them. So just, man, so many people I'm leaving off. So I just really can't think offhand. But just being in the gym, you know, really helped me grow as a coach and as a player and a fan. You know, a lot of these guys don't really understand from older like me, just watching them play and just seeing the improvements in the game, of their game as time goes on, you know, from month to month, week to week.
Well, that's a good thing. Some of these guys, like you mentioned Dennis Parker, you've been coaching him since he was 10 years old. So to see him turn into the player of the year in Richmond, Virginia, I'm sure that brings you quite a bit of joy. A lot of these kids you mentioned, they're former students or players of yours or what have you. And so I'm sure, you and I talk all the time about how much joy that brings seeing one of your students take something that you've ingrained in them or taught them and take it to new heights, take it to their own interpretation of it. So it's just a testament. I know you have your new merch line that's that you have, and on one of the cups it says planting seeds. And explain to our listeners what that means to you about planting seeds and sharing wisdom. Your slogan, share with us what that means.
One day I was in the park just walking, exercising, thinking, and you know, Forest Hill Park is filled with the large trees. Like, I'm not an expert on trees, but I was assuming I get some oak trees out there. So just was, thinking and walking pretty much. And this slogan came to my head, planting seeds so the next generation can have some shade. So it's a sacrifice that I've seen older guys do for me. You know, I can't tell you what how older guys help other people. I saw it from the outside, but I can definitely explain and share and give the guys the roses on how much they helped me over the years. Okay. By just planting shade for me to have shade.
Right.
You know, which is very important because now, you know, it's being passed on.
Well, that's big, man. That's big what you're doing and helping so many kids on all levels. Like we said, in Miami, Florida, in Richmond, Virginia, Tidewater area. I know you were just down there. You're in the D.C. area, just in West Virginia. So you just sharing your knowledge and being willing to share with such a large group of kids or men. You have pros that are 35, 36 years old that you mentor and try to talk them through their experience. And you have kids 10 years old, 12 years old. So it's just a blessing that you have time and God has put it on your heart to share your information with so many kids. For our listeners, we'll get you to share your social media handles, whatever you have, or however. If you got some kids or some pro coaches or someone that wants to reach out to you to ask some questions, and we'll get you to go ahead and share your social media handles so people can kind of check in on what you're doing.
On my Instagram, it's Coach LBJ. That's Instagram, and the Facebook is Bo Jones. Instagram it's a public page just so you can be open to questions and concerns and dialogue. So not a private page. Are you my friend or not? I don't share like a lot of my basketball stuff on my pictures a lot, but I comment on basketball stuff, social issues, comedy. I'm a well-rounded person, and I think my page pretty much displays that. A lot around sports and basketball, but also like social issues, and I'm real big on family. A couple pictures of me in my suits when I'm dressed up. I'm in shorts and basketball gear so much that, I'll throw a suit on there once in a while, little vacation picture, Nothing too splurgy, nothing too, it's appropriate. My page is appropriate.
Right. Definitely, Coach. Definitely. We're looking forward to having you back in Miami with us, hopefully in September, to put together that next Miami group that will be traveling overseas. Hopefully this year we'll, God willing, be able to also get you out to Las Vegas to see that group of guys and work with that group as well. So yes, it's been a busy summer for you, but we hope to have you teaching more and talking more and sharing more information. I think, like you said, to be at the home, to be home and not sharing information or not teaching, for someone like yourself, that's tough to do. Especially since you love sharing information, you love talking and teaching and interacting with people wherever it be, Miami, Florida, Vegas, Washington, D.C. That's just your personality and your willingness to share information, which I think is the biggest part about it. And so I'm once again just very proud of you, brother, for everything you're doing for the kids and everything you're doing to help us. And you're saving a lot of lives, my brother. Very proud of you, man. Very proud of you.
And just giving back everything guys gave to me. Watch you guys come up. I know you tired of hearing this, but gotta keep sharing it. Because an old guy like me, seeing those guys at the gym and networking fellowship, that's what you guys did to me when I was younger. So it's a blessing to just pass it on, bridging the gap.
Yes, sir.
Bridging the gap. Even if it wasn't a gap, it's still gonna be a bridge there.
Right. Yes, sir, Coach Bo Jones. Well, we're running right here towards our time, right at 40 minutes. So we appreciate you for hanging in there with us today, man. Talking, we'll call this part one of a series that we'll be doing with you. We're hoping to have you back to kind of give us hopefully a weekly report on what you see and what you're teaching, and give you a chance more to share some more wisdom using our podcast, our TMBT Media podcast, giving you a chance to kind of plant more seeds from a media standpoint as well. I know when you and I talk, we always talk about you planting seeds in basketball and teaching. But I think us using our media platforms and our coaching avenues it gives you a chance to spread more seeds or share more seeds of wisdom. So we're hoping to have you back with us, brother. Sure will.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the invite. Let you know that.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys for tuning in tonight to our TBT Media podcast with our head coach, Coach Bo Jones. We'll be signing off for here. All right. Thank you guys for listening.